first deportation flights to Venezuela resumed this weekend. Some of them included alleged Tren de Aragua gang members. And in a few hours, the Trump administration will be in court. They'll argue against a federal judge's decision to temporarily block their use of the Alien Enemies Act. The administration used the 1798 law to quickly deport alleged gang members without due process. Just this weekend on Face the Nation, White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz defended its use.
We are saying that TDA is acting as a proxy of the Maduro regime. This is how the Alien and Sedition Act applies. And we cannot have district judges interfering with the commander-in-chief's actions to take care of, in the way he deems necessary, a terrorist organization.
Now, last night, President Trump took to social media once again. He called out Judge James Boasberg, who blocked his administration from using the law to conduct deportations. Trump compared him to the judge who presided over his New York fraud trial and called for his disbarment. And we are staying on top of this story with CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman and CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen. First, though, let's bring Willie in for more on the president's response to this case. Willie, thanks for joining us today on a Monday. We are seeing Trump continuing to ramp up his attacks on the judiciary. So what more can you tell us about that?
Hey there, Mugo. Good to be with you, and good morning to you. Well, that's certainly right. That's what we've seen from President Trump via social media, as he posted yesterday on Truth Social, blasting this judge that is overseeing this case related to deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members. Now, CBS News has reported that some of these individuals do not have criminal records, and some of these individuals were, in fact, didn't necessarily have the due process to see a judge in terms of their deportation. But the White House nonetheless pushing back against judges. This isn't the first time that we've seen President Trump do this. Of course, he himself has had to deal with the court of law over the past several years. But the White House officials, the White House press secretary, in fact, calling some of these judges activist judges, and President Trump pushing for this specific judge in this case to be removed. And this is certainly something that we've seen ramp up over the past couple of weeks as his agenda has really been thwarted by federal judges across the nation, Mugo.
Okay, Willie, thank you. Now let's go to CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen for more on today's hearing. And Jake, what kind of arguments are we expecting today?
Right. Well, the Trump administration has argued since the first hearing, which was over a week ago now, that Judge James Boasberg, who Willie just spoke about, had no authority to even put a temporary block because they believe that the Trump administration's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act is unreviewable, which means that the executive has the authority to do what it pleases with invoking that as to any group of people that it wants to, and that there is no authority for the judge to even have done that in the first place, let alone the decisions that he's made, which broadened and blocked the deportation from just the first 5 plaintiffs to the entire class of people who fit under this invocation of that law. Now, another thing at stake here is really just what the judges who are hearing this argument, how they believe and whether they want to parse through the invocation of that to basically get to the point of can these Venezuelan people who are subject to this have their cases reviewed potentially individually, which is what the plaintiffs has asked for the entire time. They want and believe, Judge Boasberg put it in writing again today, that there has to be some kind of either administrative or judicial step before these people are just simply put on a plane and deported. Again, there are very limited rights in these Salvadoran prisons. It is basically, once they're on the ground there, it's very hard to bring them back. So there are 2 big issues to look out for today.
Right. And we know U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. She spoke about the case over the weekend. What did she have to say?
Well, she, again, like the Trump administration has, and now 13 members of the Trump administration have criticized Judge Boasberg. She's one of those people. She said that the judge is blocking a top priority of the nation's national security, and that Boasberg, along with numerous other judges, which she name-checked, have stopped Trump from implementing his basically day one priorities of his administration, and said that they don't have the authority to do that. She says that she expects this case to go to the Supreme Court, that the Trump administration will fight it until it goes to the Supreme Court and a final decision is made there. There are a number of legal questions at play in so many of these different cases, but she said this one specifically they're going to fight for. And she again called Judge Boasberg unqualified to basically have any role in blocking any of these policies.
All right, we'll see how all of this plays out in court. CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen, thank you for joining us today. Let's head back to the White House with Willie James Inman. And Willie, we just learned President Trump is expected to hold a closed-door cabinet meeting at this hour. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, that's right. We're hearing from the radio pool that President Trump is expected to hold that a cabinet meeting, as you mentioned, is going to be behind closed doors, closed press, so members of the media won't be in that meeting, but anything could change, and we could perhaps bring you a little bit more information about that meeting. But we, of course, know that Elon Musk has been a really key focus of the president's cabinet. Although he's not a member, an official member of the president's cabinet, he has joined these meetings, and he is expected to join this meeting today. Mughal.
Okay, and let's talk about Greenland, because U.S. officials and Second Lady Usha Vance, they're heading there this week. What is the significance of these visits in light of the Trump administration's talk of taking over Greenland?
Yeah, it really is a significant trip to have the Second Lady of the United States and to have Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, travel there, and the Energy Secretary as well to visit Greenland, although they're going on two separate trips. But there will be a chance for them to take in some cultural events. Also, the National Security Advisor is expected to meet with U.S. officials, U.S. military members on the ground there at a military base. This comes, of course, as President Trump, in fact, during his joint address to Congress, essentially said that he would like Greenland to join the United States. The reason why, in part, is because of the strategic location of Greenland, the natural resources that territory could provide. But to Greenland's defense, the outgoing Prime Minister called this a provocation, and the Danes have made it clear. The Danes, of course, run Greenland. That's a Danish territory. They have made clear that it is not for sale. Greenlanders have also made clear that it is not for sale, that they do not want to join the United States, although we have this trip coming with U.S. officials, including the Second Lady, traveling there to the territory.
Mm-hmm. And Trump is also set to appear with Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry for a big economic announcement in that state. Do we know anything about this just yet?
Yeah, we got a little bit more information about this. This event is set to happen at 2 p.m. today. The president and the governor of Louisiana are set to make this announcement, with Hyundai making a significant investment of some $5.8 billion for steel manufacturing in that state that would provide more than 5,000 jobs. This, of course, comes ahead of a push that President Trump has set for that early April deadline for those reciprocal tariffs on any nation that has tariffs against the United States. So this, of course, could perhaps lessen the blow for South Korea to be able to have this investment in the state of Louisiana, to have this investment to bring jobs to America. Because remember, the president has used tariffs as a negotiation tactic to be able to come about with deals such as this one.
Okay. Willie James Inman, thank you so much for your time today.